If your mornings feel like chaos before you've even had your cup of coffee, I promise that you're not alone. Most of us wake up already feeling behind. Our phones are going off, kids need breakfast, dishes in the sink, and a to-do list that seems to have doubled overnight. And in the middle of all of that, there seems to be this voice in our head going off telling us how we're not doing enough, we're not enough, like we need to have some kind of perfect morning routine. But here's the truth you're not seeing online. Those 5 a.m. ice baths, the gratitude list, an hour of journaling, the perfect smoothie bowl, that's not built for real life, especially for us women that are in midlife. That's built to impress algorithms, and that's actually designed to make you feel like you're not enough, that you're not doing enough, that you're behind everybody else. And I know all about this because I used to try to do all this stuff for myself for years. I'd wake up before dawn and try to plan the perfect morning routine full of elaborate exercise programs and journaling and green juices, gratitude lists. And the moment that I missed a day of this or I messed up in any way, then I'd feel like a failure. So ultimately, I'd end up feeling like a failure before my day had even begun. And that's not helpful and it's not healthy. This perfect morning routine, it became more like a checklist, a to-do list, an impossible feat, one more thing to try to get right in life. And it was exhausting. So if that sounds familiar to you, if you're struggling with this, then you're exactly who I made this video for. Because what I'm about to share isn't about perfection, it's about peace and mindful intention. It's how I finally found a morning rhythm that works for real women in real life. And if you want a simple way to start, my free meditation, The Press of Creation, well, I'll link it below. And in under 10 minutes, it's going to guide you through all of this. Today, I'm going to share with you 3 steps that make up my simple and realistic morning routine, one that can help you move from being reactive to being intentional so that your day can start with calm and with clarity and direction instead of chaos and stress. So for years, I tried to force that perfect morning routine. I thought that in order to be a success, to drop the excess weight, to have the life of my dreams, then my mornings had to look a certain way. So I'd set my alarm for 5 o'clock, determined to win the day like they teach you. But by 9 a.m., usually almost every single time, it had all fallen apart and I was drained. I felt like some kind of a failure. And I felt this swirl, this tornado of chaos around me. I was rushing through life, trying to do it all and feeling like I wasn't getting anywhere. And the problem was not that I didn't have the willpower or the discipline or that there was something wrong with me or that I wasn't enough. It was that I was trying to build some kind of routine under pressure in, instead of under presence. And so, like most women in midlife, like the women, the clients that I work with, my hormones, my energy, my patience, my tolerance for things, they were all screaming for something gentler, not a strict routine. So when I finally realized that mornings are not about doing more and trying to be this perfect thing, but more about being intentional and centered and grounded, well, that's when everything changed for me. And this is what I started teaching my clients. And that's really what these 3 steps that I'm teaching you today are all about. So step number 1 is the first step, and that is so simple, yet so overlooked. And that's to set your intention. So before you touch your phone, before you put your feet on the floor and life starts happening to you first thing in the morning, I invite you to just pause. So the way it usually works for me is my alarm goes off the first time and I hit that snooze button one time, but in that moment, I just pause, take in some deep breath, and I ask myself what I want from today. How do I want to feel about today? How do I want today to look? So maybe it's calm, maybe it's confident, maybe it's connected. It's not a big elaborate thing that I'm trying to come up with. It's simply a tone, a feeling, a word to describe what I want from my day. And not every day is the same depending on what I anticipate happening, right? But when you do this, just ask yourself, what is the sense that you want to take from today? And whatever word comes up, well, that's your North Star. That's your direction. And just simply setting that intention, I can't emphasize enough to you how powerful this can be and how this can start positive momentum in your life in ways that you maybe never could have expected. So the way I often describe this to clients is to think of your morning like you're tuning an instrument. So if your note is off, if your instrument is off, and I'm not a musician, but I know enough about music to know that like if the instrument is not tuned correctly, then no matter what song you're playing, it's just going to feel off, right? So like that instrument, we are an instrument. We want to tune ourselves. And this simple intention setting practice is how you can do just that. So when you tune yourself, your mind, your energy, your intention, everything that plays out throughout the day just sounds a little better, on key, so to speak. And this is a foundation in my radiant alignment equation, which I teach clients. And that's simply awareness before action. So if you want help with this part, the Press of Creation, my morning meditation, it guides you through gratitude, breath, and intention setting. And like I said, it can do all of that for you in less than 10 minutes. Because when you begin your day with presence instead of pressure, well, your whole physiology, your body follows suit. And step number 2 is to nourish and move. So now that you've set that intention and your inner world feels a little bit anchored, it's time to wake up your body. So this does not have to be some extreme or elaborate workout. That's not what I'm asking of you unless you're already doing that and you're okay with it. It can be a lot of things depending on where you're at. So maybe it's simply drinking a big glass of water and having a nice stretch first thing in the morning. Maybe it's stepping outside for a couple of moments to feel the fresh air, maybe get some sunlight on you. Or maybe it's a quick walk around the block with your dog before the rest of the house gets up. It can be a lot of different things. But the thing is that these small things, they can cause huge shifts. So hydration, it jumpstarts your metabolism. It's energizing. It's good for the skin. Light in the morning tells your hormones, hey, it's morning. It's time to wake up. It gives you more energy and calm throughout the day, but it also sets you up for a better night's sleep at night, which is huge if you're a woman in midlife, of course. And gentle movement, well, that can tell your body, I'm safe. I'm not in survival mode. It can turn off that fight or flight mode and turn on that rest, digest, and repair mode in our bodies. So the key here is to choose what feels good to you, not what looks good online because somebody told you that has a whole bunch of followers. Because the truth is that consistency beats intensity every single time. So that's energy over force. And that's another core principle in my radiant alignment equation that I teach my clients. And step number 3, well, that's to create a buffer. And this last step, well, it might be the thing that changes everything for the better. So this buffer is when you create that sacred moment between you and the rest of the world. So before you dive into your phone and your emails and your texts and your notifications, the headlines, all of the things going on out there in the world, I want you to give yourself a couple of minutes of space. So this can look a lot of different ways, depending again on where you're at. There's no rules. Maybe that's just simply sitting in silence with a cup of coffee or your favorite tea and just starting the day slowly. Maybe it's journaling a couple of thoughts or feelings, getting them out onto paper, or writing out something that you feel grateful or optimistic about. Maybe it's simply giving yourself a couple of minutes to watch the day begin, seeing the light start to move across the room as the sun begins to rise. It can be whatever you choose, whatever feels okay right now for you. But the point of the buffer is to give yourself a few minutes that can act like emotional armor. They can help to keep you slipping into that reactivity mode that is so easy for us to all fall into. It helps your nervous system to regulate. It helps your mind to clear. It helps your hormones to be nice and steady. And this is where transfiguration happens, not in the doing, but in the being. It's the quiet moment when who you really are in your core starts leading the way again, starts to lead your day. So to recap, step one is to set your intention for the day. Step two is to nourish and move in a way that feels good and realistic for you. And step three is to find a way to create that buffer. And that's it. It's simple, it's doable, it's repeatable, and it's built for real people in real life. You don't need hours, you don't need perfection, you don't need any money to do this. You just need your presence and a little bit of time, because transformation doesn't happen when you do more. It happens when you align more. So if this feels like a challenge to you, if this feels overwhelming, if you're not used to doing things like this, or you've struggled with things like this in the past, then that's okay. Then just simply start with step one. Set the intention for your day and add the additional steps as you feel right, as you feel ready to do so. Because none of this is about controlling your day. This is about being intentional about how you want to create your day. And it doesn't mean that every day is going to be perfect and there's never going to be a hiccup again. But what I can tell you after doing this for years now is that the more you do it, the more you practice it and develop these skills, and they are skills that you develop just like muscles that you exercise, well, the more powerful it becomes and the more helpful it becomes. I can promise you that every ounce of energy and time you put into this will benefit you in ways that you can't yet imagine. And like I said, if you would like my free guided version on how to do all of this in under 10 minutes, well, you can download my free morning meditation, The Press of Creation. I'll link it below. It's your 10-minute reset to begin your morning in calm, in clarity, in intention. So if this video helped you, if it resonated with you, then be sure to hit the subscribe button so that you can get more practical and heart-centered tools that will show you how transformation actually happens from the inside out. Because I promise you do not have to chase motivation or willpower. You just need to learn how to come back into alignment with who you really are. So thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.